This weekend, Senate Democrats joined the American people in demanding real change when it comes to ICE and its behavior. On Saturday night, I announced we would not provide the votes to proceed to government funding and to the government funding bill if the DHS funding bill was included. Some may have thought we were not serious, that this was mere theater and business could proceed as usual. Well, as snow fell across Washington on Sunday, Republicans announced they would continue as planned with their government funding bill. They thought they could stonewall us. They thought we would not have the resolve. But undeterred, we held our ground and made clear our demand. The Senate must separate the Homeland Security's bill out of the large appropriations bill and allow this chamber to make real changes to overhaul ICE and to end the violence. Some may have thought they could ignore us, confident the news cycle would change and the public outrage would fade. Those people were wrong. They underestimated our resolve. They dismissed our unity. Yesterday, Republicans tried once more to push forward the full funding package through the Senate with zero ICE reforms. Democrats unanimously voted no. We were strong and we're united. With our votes, we helped deliver the message of change on behalf of millions and millions of Americans who have risen up and supported their neighbors and who have implored their government to stop tormenting their communities. Let me be clear. Because of Democratic unity, the Senate was forced to change course. Republicans had to negotiate with us to pass any bill. They had to listen to the American people calling out for change. The bottom line, the agreement we reached today did precisely what Democrats wanted. It separated DHS from the other funding bills so we can overhaul DHS to rein in ICE and end the violence. Now, there are two steps to this whole process. First, separate the bills, which gave us the ability to fund 96% of the government while letting us now focus on overhauling the DHS bill. That was step one. Step two is now drafting strong, common-sense legislation that reins in ICE and ends the violence. I want my colleagues to listen closely. I want my Republican colleagues to listen closely. Senate Democrats will not support a DHS bill unless it reins in ICE and ends the violence. What are we demanding? We demand ending the roving patrols. These are our three objectives. One, ending the roving patrols. Two, enforce accountability. Three, masks on, body cameras off. Masks off, body cameras on, no secret police. Every officer must have clear identification. That's what we're demanding. Those are our three objectives. And there will be specifics under each of those. We will know soon enough if our colleagues understand the stakes, if they understand how serious we are. The American people want change. Senate Democrats want change. If our colleagues are not willing to enact real change, they should not expect Democratic votes. Let me say that again. If our colleagues are not willing to enact real change, real strong change, they should not expect Democratic votes. We have only a few days to deliver real progress for the American people. The eyes of the nation are watching. I hope Republicans get serious, or they will learn once again they will not have our votes. bottom line, let's find this last page. I'll find it. Nope, he didn't. Anyway, the bottom line is very simple. The American people are crying out for change. They see what's happening on our streets. They see the thugs. They see the goons. They see people being shot and killed. They see people being punched and pushed around and treated like garbage when they're American citizens, when they're here legally, when they're people on the streets. They want it stopped. We want it stopped. This is not America. Not America. And when you see those images, you know that something is dramatically wrong and it must change. We are fighting to change it. Will our Republican colleagues join us? Now, Patty Murray has done such a great job here. She really just put her every bit of her into making this happen. Couldn't have happened without her. I'm proud to introduce Patty.
Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. Well, all week, Senate Democrats have been exceptionally clear. We cannot and we will not pass the DHS bill until ICE and CBP are reined in. We laid out a clear and common sense path forward past these 5 funding bills we all overwhelmingly agree on, while splitting off the DHS bill and forcing Congress to take action to rein in Kristi Noem's out-of-control department. And tonight, that's exactly what the Senate did. Look, this is a pretty somber moment that we are in. I very seriously doubt the White House would have agreed to renegotiate constraints on DHS if not for the national outcry from the American people. America saw the killing of Alex Preddy, and America was rightly enraged, not even 3 weeks since the killing of Renee Good. And understand, the country witnessed that awful killing after weeks of seeing nonstop scenes of brutality on the streets of Minneapolis. But because the American people said enough, we were then able to press the Republicans to split off the DHS funding so we can now work on oversight. And over the next few days, Senate Democrats will be focused on negotiating real restraints to put an end to the chaos we're seeing on our streets. For years, Republicans have warned of rogue federal agencies infringing upon people's most basic constitutional rights. That, of course, is exactly what is happening now. So if they are serious about those warnings, if Republicans are serious about preventing Americans from being murdered by masked federal agents, they will work with us over the next 2 weeks to rein those agencies in, which is what the vast majority of Americans are demanding we do. If Republicans want Democratic votes, they need to work with us to end the unacceptable brutality we are seeing in Minnesota and elsewhere. I'll be doing everything I possibly can to ensure that Congress acts and that we meet this moment. And in the meantime, we have torn up Trump's budget and written a new one by passing 5 more funding bills for the year ahead. The message to President Trump is America will continue to fund cancer research. We are going to keep investing in affordable housing and tackling homelessness. Congress will not abolish the Department of Education. That message in this bill is headed his way, and he's going to sign that bill into law. Importantly, these bills ensure that Congress, not President Trump or Russ Vought, decide how our taxpayer dollars are going to be spent by reasserting Congress's power of the purse. Getting these bills signed into law means President Trump and his cabinet secretaries will no longer have the legal authority to unilaterally defund programs to fund their own priorities, or to pick and choose which projects to fund. That matters. That matters, and it is a very important victory for the American people and for our democracy. We have to remember that Congress is a co-equal branch, but it has to act like one. Democrats being at the table made a difference in these bills. We held firm to protect NIH. We held firm to protect affordable housing. We held firm to protect public education. and we held firm to put working people first. And because we held firm, we got major concessions out of Republicans, forcing Congress to do the right thing on many, many issues, even if it meant going against Trump, something that was unthinkable this time last year. And now we are focused on doing the same thing when it comes to meaningful DHS reforms. And their shots.
This is one of the most important moments in this Congress. This is a bipartisan rejection of DOGE. This is a recognition of the importance of funding 96% of the government. It is that. And we are hopeful about that. And we are glad about that. But it's also about what comes next. This also puts us in a position to negotiate over some very simple principles. This is not an immigration negotiation. This is not a question of partisanship. This is a question of whether you think it's okay to have a person with no badge and no ID and no way to even know that they are a law enforcement officer come in and rough up your neighbor or your family member. And so the next 2 weeks are essential. Agents need warrants. They need to properly identify themselves, take off their masks, and wear body cameras. And understand what we are asking for is what police departments do, is what your local cop does. It's what any well-trained law enforcement force does. We're not asking for some progressive wish list. We're asking for these individuals to conduct themselves at least to the standard of your local police department. The status quo is unacceptable. I've never seen anything like this, not just in terms of the brutality on the street, but also the bipartisan, nonpartisan rejection of what people are seeing. And the attempt to kind of wedge this back into a partisan box is backfiring because people are seeing with their own eyes what is happening on the streets of Minneapolis and in many other places across the country. It has to stop, and if it doesn't stop, we do not intend to provide our votes.
Ready for your questions? Yes, don't yell out, please.
Leader Schumer, how do you anticipate the next 2 weeks to go? Will you negotiate with the White House? Have you had those conversations? Essentially, how will you make sure that these provisions end up in the final bill?
Look, we intend to negotiate with Leader Thune. We will need in the Senate a majority of votes, 60 votes, to pass the Homeland Security bill through the Senate. So we expect to negotiate with them, and it's on them. We're ready. We have a strong group of proposals. They're common sense. They're what the American people want us to do. It's on them. Yes.
Thank you, Leader Schumer. Lindsey Graham has been very vocal over the last day or so. He said that, in his opinion, the root cause of everything we're seeing in Minneapolis is open border policies under the Biden administration. And he said Democrats are vilifying all ICE agents over a couple of incidents that he said obviously need to be investigated. What's your response to that?
Lindsey Graham ought to talk to the American people and see how they feel. Yes.
If this falls apart, are you willing to break apart the DHS funding bill to fund TSA, FEMA, and separate?
We're not engaging in hypotheticals. We want the Republicans to join us so that we can pass strong bipartisan legislation that curbs ICE, stops the violence, reins it in. That's what the American... Why are we in such a strong position here? Not because of us. It's because what the American people want and demand. Why did the Republicans have to, after saying they would never go along with our desire to divide the bills, why did they have to go along? 3 words: the American people. Yes.
Are you seeing any signs from Thune or Trump or others that they're willing to
Well, the fact that they came and said, we're going to do it your way because you wouldn't, because we blocked them their way, shows. I think the Republicans, Trump and the Republicans, know that this is an issue where they're on the wrong side of the American people and it really matters. And my guess is a whole lot of Republicans don't want to see these roaming bands of goons and thugs invade city after city after city. So I believe they know it's in their own interest, as well as in the American people's interest, to curb this. Whether they have the guts to do it, whether they have the strength to do it, we shall see. Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. Have you been in communication with House Democratic leadership, and did Hakeem Jeffries sign on to the 2-week DHS?
Well, this bill was negotiated in the Senate by Thune and me. But I've talked to Hakeem Jeffries. For instance, we talked about how long a CR should be because we wanted to limit it greatly, and we agreed on 2 weeks. Yes.
On your requirement for the mask off, several Republicans.
On the requirement of the.
The demasking, the mask off.
Yes.
Agents, several Republicans have raised concern about that because they say agents are being doxxed, and that's why they're wearing these masks. They don't want to be doxxed.
Look, the whole ICE needs discipline, training, etc. Given the brutality, given everything they've done, we need real ID, plain and simple. And to have a law enforcement officer with no ID pick someone up, throw them in a dark room, and they don't even know who they are, we don't even know if they're law enforcement agents. So we have to have real ID, plain and simple. Yes.
Leader, you talked about these 3 priorities broadly. How will Democrats develop more specific proposals, and which Democrats are going to be taking the lead on these?
Look, we're going to have a group of Democrats negotiate. We're going to have to negotiate with the Republicans to get this done. But as we've said over and over again, they shouldn't expect our votes if they're not willing to go along with strong legislation. Yes, go ahead, finally. No, you. No, he's been trying very hard.
Thank you very much, Trustee at the Independent. Even if these reforms pass, ICE still has $75 billion. I know that all of you voted to repeal it. Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski voted to repeal it. How do you assure the American people, you mentioned the American people, that these reforms will actually be meaningful when ICE still has $75 billion to play with?
Well, one of the things we want to do is to make sure that the reforms we have apply to all the money that ICE is now spending, no matter where it comes from. Did you want to answer that? No, that's been your. Yes.
Just in terms of getting these demands, did you have any direct conversations with President Trump while you were negotiating this, and do you intend to engage him over these next 2 weeks?
Look,
do you want to sit down with him to try?
We need Democrats and Republicans in the Senate to pass this, so I'm going to talk to Thune. Whatever he wants to say to Trump, and whatever, if Trump can be constructive, great. But right now, Trump is being destructive. It's his force. It's his ICE force. It's his roving band of thugs going across the cities. Thune and I are the 2 leads on the negotiation. Okay? Yes.
From a practical standpoint, funding is going to lapse at the end of today for a weekend or 3 days or whatever. I was wondering, for Americans that are really confused as to what that means, what does that mean? Is the government actually going to shut down? Are there going to be any effects for Americans here? Are you able to explain that so that people understand what is about to happen for the next 3 days?
Unless Chuck knows the answer to that at the technical level, I would honestly defer to OMB because I'm not sure how it actually operates.
It's the Trump administration. Ask them.
Yeah.
Okay. You saw 2 Republican votes with you to try to rescind the $75 billion for ICE. That was, I believe, part of the legislation package. Given that you have a little bit of Republican buy-in, do you expect that to be at all part of these conversations?
Well, look, we expect that our Republicans will join us in every part of the conversation. But as has been made clear by the 3 of us, plain and simple, it's up to them to get our votes to join us. It's on their back. We're ready. We know what we want. We think the American people very much want it. The end the rolling patrols, the enforce accountability, and masks on, masks off, body cameras on. No secret police. Secret police in America? What the heck is going on? Okay? Thank you, everybody.